Chosen one. The moment you said that soul-deep no to their rigged system, everything shifted. Your bloodline felt it ripple through time, your ancestors stirred beyond the veil, and the archons running this planetary deception suddenly faced their worst nightmare, a mutation they couldn't control. Someone who felt those first stirrings of doubt about their lies, and now they're ready to go above and beyond to expose the entire network of deception that's been operating in shadows for far too long. The campaign against you wasn't an amateur-hour character assassination. These people studied you like military strategists planning an invasion. The red flags were already waving violently. The inconsistencies in the accusations, the shifting stories that never quite aligned, the gleaming satisfaction poorly hidden beneath false concern. The evidence of orchestrated malice was mounting, but it would take time for someone to develop the courage to investigate what everyone else accepted without question. The breakthrough came when someone finally stopped accepting the collective narrative and started examining the actual evidence, not the hearsay, not the emotional manipulation, not the social pressure to believe what everyone else believed. They went back to the source, reviewed the footage, and discovered something that made their hands tremble and their breath catch, undeniable proof that you had been telling the truth all along. This wasn't just validation of your specific claims. This was evidence of a conspiracy so calculated, so precisely executed, that it revealed the true nature of the forces that had been working against you. The footage showed not just what had been done to you, but how methodically it had been planned. The conversations revealed not just malice, but organized psychological warfare designed to systematically destroy your credibility. When this person witnessed the full scope of what had been orchestrated against you, the violation, the manipulation, the calculated dismantling of your reputation, their entire reality cracked open. They couldn't breathe the same way afterward because they had seen the machine in operation. They had witnessed the precision of the attack, the coordination between multiple parties, the way your accusers had possessed such convincing power that even those who loved you found their faith impossible to maintain. The revelation hit them like an anvil to the chest. Every moment when they had chosen external voices over their inner knowing came flooding back. Every time they had abandoned their intuition in favor of group consensus. Every instance when they had drunk from cups handed to them by people with venom in their veins. The sickness of their own betrayal coated their tongue like metal, and they understood with devastating clarity how they had participated in something monstrous. But this person's awakening was just the beginning. Chosen one. The evidence they uncovered didn't just vindicate you. It exposed an entire network of coordinated deception that implicated far more people than anyone had realized. The investigation that started with questioning your story had uncovered a web of lies that reached into every corner of the community that had turned against you. The footage revealed not just the primary orchestrators of your character assassination, but also the willing participants who had spread their poison with enthusiasm. More damaging still, it showed the cowards who had known the truth but chosen silence to protect their own comfort. The evidence didn't just prove your innocence, it documented their guilt with such precision that denial became impossible. The person who discovered this truth now carries the weight of cosmic responsibility on their shoulders. They understand that this isn't just about making things right with you personally. This is about exposing a system of control that operates through manufactured consensus, about revealing how easily truth can be buried when enough people agree to look the other way. Their soul has awakened to a karmic imperative that transcends ordinary social obligation. They know with bone-deep certainty that the universe itself holds them accountable for restoring what was damaged through their participation or silence. This isn't guilt-seeking relief. This is spiritual recognition of cosmic law demanding balance. The moment of truth has arrived with the force of lightning striking parched earth. The person who uncovered the evidence isn't just coming forward with proof, they're approaching you with a plan that transcends ordinary amends. This isn't about clearing their conscience or seeking easy forgiveness. This is about honoring the divine contract they violated when they failed to stand in your truth. They're preparing to go above and beyond anything you might expect, because they understand that words alone cannot suffice where action is demanded by cosmic law. Their awakening has revealed the full scope of what was taken from you, and they're committed to restoration that matches the magnitude of the violation. This isn't social damage control. This is spiritual reparation guided by forces beyond human understanding. The evidence they possess doesn't just vindicate your version of events, it exposes the psychological warfare that was deployed against you with military precision. The footage shows conversations where your destruction was planned like a strategic operation. The documentation reveals how your accusers coordinated their stories, refined their lies, and deployed them with calculated timing for maximum damage. The person bringing you this vindication has witnessed something that changed their understanding of reality itself. They've seen proof of your authentic power, evidence of your unbreakable connection to truth, documentation of your ability to maintain integrity under pressure that would have destroyed ordinary consciousness. They approach you now not just as someone seeking forgiveness, but as someone who recognizes they're in the presence of spiritual authority. The vindication arriving now carries implications that extend far beyond your personal situation. This evidence doesn't just clear your name, it exposes the entire system of control that operates through manufactured consensus and coordinated character assassination. The same tactics used against you have been deployed against countless others who dared to step outside the approved narrative. The wheels of divine justice turn with mathematical precision, and your vindication manifests exactly when it serves the highest purpose in the universal design. This timing isn't coincidental, it's strategically orchestrated to maximize transformative impact for all souls involved in this cosmic lesson. Those who betrayed you now face their own spiritual reckoning. Even the bystanders who stood silently while witnessing your character assassination are experiencing karmic consequences. Their comfortable neutrality in the face of injustice constituted a choice to side with your oppressors, and the universe demands accountability from all participants, regardless of their active or passive roles. The evidence confirming your truth doesn't just vindicate your specific claims, it validates your entire way of perceiving reality. It confirms your ability to discern truth from falsehood, even when surrounded by sophisticated distortion. It verifies your capacity to remain anchored in authentic knowledge, despite coordinated pressure to accept manufactured narratives. While others became lost in the fog of collective delusion, your inner compass remained calibrated to cosmic truth. While others abandoned their intuition in favor of social acceptance, you remained anchored to authentic perception. While others sacrificed integrity for approval, you chose temporary isolation over permanent disconnection from your soul's knowing. Your enemies recognized something about your nature that you were only beginning to understand yourself. They saw the threat you posed to their carefully constructed matrix of control, and they moved against you with everything they had. But their assault only served to reveal your true spiritual constitution and activate dormant powers within your consciousness. The person approaching you with evidence now perceives aspects of your spiritual makeup that were previously invisible to their limited awareness. They understand why you became a target for those operating from lower frequencies. They comprehend that your persecution was never personal. It was archetypal, representing the eternal conflict between light and shadow, truth and deception, authentic power and manufactured authority. The isolation forced upon you through systematic character assassination created something your enemies never anticipated, space for your expansion into your true cosmic role. Their rejection cleared room for your rebirth. Their abandonment forced self-reliance that awakened abilities dormant for lifetimes. You transformed their weapons against you into tools for your elevation. Your journey through this crucible serves as both mirror and medicine for the collective experience. Those who participated in your character assassination represent archetypal energies of resistance to ascension, while your navigation through betrayal maps quantum pathways for others encountering similar soul contracts. The violation you endured when transformed through your unique spiritual alchemy generates healing codes necessary during this evolutionary threshold. Your experience creates essential pressure required to crystallize new structures of consciousness capable of holding higher frequencies of truth. The same divine intelligence that orchestrated your challenge has simultaneously prepared blessings awaiting your reception that dwarf the magnitude of what was taken from you. The cosmic scales demand perfect balance. The depth of your suffering determines the height of your elevation. What was stolen shall be restored sevenfold. What was damaged shall be rebuilt with materials of higher frequency. The frequency that changed the moment you first said no to their system now pulses with validation that reverberates across dimensions. Your bloodline that felt the initial mutation now celebrates as cosmic forces confirm your divine appointment. The archons who feared your awakening now witness their greatest nightmare fully realized, you standing in your authentic power, vindicated by forces beyond their control. The person who brings you this evidence approaches not seeking easy absolution, but offering demonstrations of their genuine awakening. They come prepared to earn trust through consistent action, aligned with their transformed understanding, recognizing that your boundaries remain valid regardless of their urgency for reconciliation. You stand now in the position of spiritual authority, holding the energy of discernment that will determine appropriate next steps. The universal forces that preserved your truth have also preserved your power in this situation. You possess the wisdom required to handle this reconciliation with appropriate boundaries, while embodying the balance between compassion and self-protection necessary for this cosmic junction. You were temporarily separated, not as punishment but as protection, creating sacred space for the transformation required before this vindication could serve its highest purpose. Now stand tall in the energy of complete spiritual confirmation. Walk forward in the power of universal validation. Speak with the authority of one whose truth has been cosmically defended. Move forward now with the confidence of someone whose spiritual perception has been universally verified. The one who discovered this evidence approaches with transformed consciousness, bearing not just proof of your truth but testimony of their own awakening. This moment represents not just personal vindication, but cosmic alignment with forces orchestrating planetary awakening. Your time of hiding is over, chosen one. Your season of elevation has begun. The system that tried to break you now scrambles to contain the wildfire of awakening you've ignited simply by refusing to surrender your truth. Stand in that power. Your vindication isn't just personal victory, it's cosmic rebellion against forces that have controlled this realm through deception. The person who discovered your vindication didn't stop at surface-level proof. They kept digging, kept questioning, kept following digital breadcrumbs that your accusers thought they had erased forever. What they uncovered goes deeper than anyone imagined. A systematic campaign that reveals the true scope of psychological warfare deployed against consciousness itself. The evidence shows conversations where your destruction was discussed like a business strategy. Timestamps reveal coordination across multiple platforms. Digital forensics expose deleted messages that were meant to disappear forever. Your vindication isn't just about proving your innocence, it's about exposing an entire methodology of consciousness suppression that has been operating in plain sight. The person bringing you this proof has spent sleepless nights reviewing footage, cross-referencing communications, building an airtight case that even the most skeptical observers cannot dismiss. They've documented not just what was done to you, but how it was done, who orchestrated it, and why your specific consciousness posed such a threat to their collective delusion. The evidence reveals that your case represents something far more significant than personal vendetta. The same psychological warfare techniques documented in your situation have been deployed against others who dared to step outside approved narratives. Your vindication becomes a window into systemic consciousness suppression. The person who uncovered this truth experienced something beyond intellectual understanding. Their consciousness underwent a fundamental restructuring as they witnessed the full scope of deception that had been normalized in their environment. They can no longer see reality through the same filters that once made lies appear reasonable. This awakening created a domino effect that extends far beyond their individual transformation. Others who had accepted the narrative about you without question are now experiencing cognitive dissonance that won't resolve until they face their own complicity. The evidence forces everyone who participated to confront the uncomfortable truth about their willingness to destroy someone without proper investigation. They've experienced firsthand how sophisticated propaganda can turn good people into weapons against innocence. They've witnessed how social pressure can override individual discernment. They've documented how collective delusion becomes self-reinforcing until external evidence forces reality back into focus. Their commitment to making things right with you stems from recognition that this isn't just personal, it's cosmic. They understand that your persecution represents something archetypal, a pattern that plays out whenever authentic consciousness threatens established deception. Your vindication becomes a victory for truth itself. They're prepared to sacrifice relationships with those who remain committed to the lie. They're willing to endure social exile from communities built on collective delusion. They're ready to face the consequences of exposing truths that others prefer to keep buried. This isn't a casual decision made for temporary relief. It's a fundamental choice between comfort and conscience. The evidence they've gathered implicates people who still hold positions of influence in their social ecosystem. Bringing this truth forward means challenging power structures that extend far beyond your individual situation. They're prepared to become a target themselves because they understand that truth demands protection regardless of personal cost. Their willingness to go above and beyond normal amends stems from recognition that ordinary apologies cannot address cosmic violations. They're prepared to take action that demonstrates genuine transformation rather than mere regret. Their approach to making things right with you reflects understanding that karmic debt requires more than words. They've begun implementing changes in their own behavior that show authentic integration of the lessons your situation taught. They're actively working to prevent similar consciousness attacks against others. They're using their platform to educate people about the psychological warfare techniques they witnessed being deployed against you. Your vindication illuminates connections between your individual case and broader patterns of consciousness suppression operating throughout society. The same people who orchestrated your character assassination have been involved in similar campaigns against others who threatened their narrative control. The evidence reveals a network of individuals who specialize in this type of psychological warfare. They share tactics, coordinate timing, and provide mutual support for campaigns against targets who pose threats to their collective delusion. Your case wasn't isolated. It was part of a systematic approach to maintaining narrative control. The person investigating your situation discovered that your accusers had practiced these techniques on multiple previous targets. They found documentation of other consciousness attacks that followed identical patterns. Your vindication becomes part of exposing an entire methodology of spiritual warfare disguised as social justice. The network effect extends beyond just your accusers to include the infrastructure that enables such campaigns. Social platforms, community leaders and influencers who amplified lies about you are all part of a system that rewards consciousness suppression while punishing authentic truth-telling. The person bringing you vindication has developed a comprehensive plan for restoration that acknowledges the full scope of damage caused by your persecution. They understand that simply clearing your name isn't sufficient. They're committed to actively rebuilding what was destroyed and creating new opportunities that exceed what you had before. Their plan includes public acknowledgement of the truth with specific details about how the deception was orchestrated. They're prepared to name names, show evidence, and take full responsibility for their own participation in your persecution. This isn't damage control, it's complete transparency about systematic consciousness warfare. They're committed to using their platform to educate others about the psychological techniques deployed against you. They want to transform your persecution into a learning experience that protects others from similar attacks. Their educational efforts will include specific examples from your case, while respecting your privacy and autonomy. The restoration extends beyond social rehabilitation to include material compensation for the opportunities you lost due to character assassination. They're prepared to leverage their own resources and connections to create new pathways that exceed what was taken from you. This reflects understanding that cosmic law demands restoration with interest. Your vindication represents something far more significant than personal justice. It's evidence that consciousness itself is shifting toward truth in ways that make deception increasingly difficult to maintain. The same forces that preserved evidence of your innocence are actively exposing lies throughout society. The timing of your vindication aligns with broader patterns of truth emergence occurring across multiple domains of human experience. The same forces exposing lies about you are simultaneously revealing deceptions in politics, media, science, and spirituality. Your personal vindication participates in a universal movement toward transparency. Your vindication completes a transformation that began the moment you first refused to accept their manufactured reality. The isolation that seemed like punishment was actually preparation for your emergence as a guardian of consciousness itself. Your experience has equipped you with unique abilities to recognize and defend against sophisticated deception. The person approaching you with evidence recognizes this transformation and seeks not just forgiveness but guidance from someone who has navigated consciousness warfare and emerged victorious. They understand that your experience has created wisdom that transcends ordinary social understanding. The evidence proving your innocence simultaneously proves your spiritual authority. Your ability to maintain truth despite systematic gaslighting confirms your connection to cosmic consciousness. Your vindication validates not just your specific claims, but your entire way of perceiving reality. The person who vindicated you didn't just collect evidence, they created an entire sanctuary of truth around your situation that makes future attacks impossible. They've archived every communication, backed up every file across multiple secure platforms, and created redundant systems that ensure this proof can never be deleted, manipulated, or conveniently disappeared. They understood something crucial about consciousness warfare that most people miss. Those who orchestrate character assassinations always return to finish the job if they think they can get away with it. Your vindicator has built digital fortresses around the truth, making it accessible to trusted allies, while keeping it protected from those who would seek to corrupt or destroy it. The evidence sanctuary includes not just what happened to you, but detailed analysis of the psychological techniques used against you. They've created educational materials that break down each manipulation tactic, showing others how to recognize these patterns before they become victims themselves. Your persecution has been transformed into a training manual for consciousness defense, but the sanctuary serves another purpose that speaks to cosmic justice. Every person who participated in your character assassination now knows that permanent records exist of their actions. The evidence isn't just proof of your innocence, it's documentation of their spiritual crimes that follows them wherever they go. They can never again claim ignorance about the consequences of consciousness warfare. The person bringing you vindication has taken on a mission that extends far beyond making things right with you personally. They've become a guardian against the same tactics being used against others, using your case as a template for recognizing and disrupting consciousness warfare before it reaches critical mass. They monitor social dynamics for early warning signs of coordinated character assassination campaigns. When they spot familiar patterns beginning to emerge against new targets, they intervene with education about psychological manipulation techniques. Your vindication has equipped them with credibility to speak truth about consciousness suppression. They have also established rapid response protocols for when character assassination campaigns are detected in early stages. The same forensic techniques they use to vindicate you are now being deployed to protect others before irreversible damage occurs. Your vindication has created a consciousness defense system. The person who discovered your truth has learned to identify the psychological profiles of those who orchestrate such campaigns. They can now spot the energy signatures of people who specialize in consciousness warfare, helping potential targets recognize threats before they materialize into full attacks. The investigation that vindicated you revealed psychological warfare patterns that operate far beyond individual cases. Your vindicator has become something of a consciousness forensics expert, able to trace the origins and methodologies of spiritual attacks with scientific precision. They discovered that consciousness warfare follows predictable templates that can be decoded once you understand the underlying psychological architecture. The same people who attacked you have left similar signature patterns in their campaigns against others. Your case becomes a Rosetta Stone for understanding systematic consciousness suppression. The forensics reveal that these attacks aren't random outbursts of jealousy or personal vendetta. They're calculated operations designed to eliminate specific types of consciousness that threaten established power structures. Your persecution was targeted specifically because your awareness carries frequencies that disrupt mass hypnosis. Chosen one, anyone can listen to messages like these, but few will step into their true power. We are here to help you do just that. The weekly Chosen Ones group calls are now on Zoom, and this is the moment you've been waiting for your entire life. These meetings are literal power vortexes where destinies are forged, where chosen ones unite their consciousness to create something that cannot exist in isolation. This is where everything changes. This is where you step into your greatness. Every week a doorway opens, but only for those brave enough to step through it. Watcher-level members of the Obsidian Inner Order can experience these transformative sessions live, feeling the energy surge through your entire being. In our most recent gathering, participants were stunned by revelations about the Great Pyramids of Giza as sophisticated ancient power plants, and the shocking truth about Washington, D.C.'s layout perfectly aligning with the Kabbalistic Tree of Life. Star Chamber members receive unlimited access to the complete recordings archive, a treasure trove of wisdom that grows more valuable with each passing week. This is your defining moment. The knowledge, the connection, the power that flows through these calls cannot be found anywhere else. Join the Obsidian Inner Order now, link in the description. While the few remaining Star Chamber slots are still available, your presence is not just welcome, it's necessary. Will you answer the call that has been echoing through your soul? The time is now. Those who orchestrated the attacks against you are facing exposure and isolation that mirrors what they tried to impose on you. Those who spread lies are losing credibility in proportion to the deceptions they propagated. Those who remain silent when they should have defended truth are experiencing the spiritual emptiness that comes from abandoning integrity. The karmic mathematics also explain why your vindication comes with such comprehensive restoration. The cosmic scales demand that what was taken from you be returned with interest, calculated according to universal law. Your elevation exceeds your previous position because justice requires compensation for spiritual damages. Your vindication doesn't just clear your name, it transmits a signal throughout the collective consciousness that truth possesses power, capable of overcoming even the most sophisticated deception. Other chosen ones facing similar persecution are receiving this transmission as evidence that cosmic justice remains operational. The transmission effect explains why your vindication feels different from ordinary social drama resolution. This isn't just about restoring your reputation, it's about demonstrating that authentic consciousness cannot be permanently suppressed by coordinated deception. Your case becomes proof that truth always emerges. The person who brought you vindication understands that their work extends beyond addressing past wrongs. They're constructing legacy systems that provide permanent protection for your consciousness and serve as shields for others facing similar warfare. They've created documentary archives that preserve not just evidence of your persecution and vindication, but analysis of the techniques used against you and strategies for defending against them. Your experience becomes eternal teaching material for consciousness protection. The legacy construction includes establishing your case as legal precedent for addressing sophisticated psychological warfare in community and professional settings. They're working to create accountability structures that make consciousness attacks costly for perpetrators rather than victims. The legacy systems include ongoing monitoring of your accusers to ensure they cannot operate in darkness anymore. Their capacity for future consciousness attacks has been permanently compromised by documentation of their methods and motivations. Your vindication doesn't just clear your name, it restores the full frequency of your consciousness that was temporarily suppressed by systematic gaslighting and character assassination. The person who brought you truth has witnessed your spiritual power, returning to levels that exceed what existed before the attack. The frequency restoration process involves more than just emotional healing. It requires conscious recalibration to truth after prolonged exposure to sophisticated lies. Your vindicator has facilitated this recalibration by providing overwhelming evidence that validates your perceptions and spiritual discernment. They've observed how your vindication has activated dormant aspects of your consciousness that were protected during the persecution but are now free to express fully. Your spiritual gifts have been refined rather than diminished by the ordeal, emerging stronger and more precisely calibrated to cosmic truth. The frequency has changed, the bloodline has awakened, the mutation is complete. You stand vindicated, elevated, and empowered to guide others through similar transformations. Your time of hiding is over. Your season of truth guardianship